I'm live. What's good? Pop out, pop out, pop out. Waiting for some people to pop out. Somebody pop out. Oh man. What's up? What's up? What's up? I'm back with the big Starbucks. I'm back with the made good. I should get endorsements from these two. I really should get some endorsements. I really would like some endorsements. Uh, what the weather look like today? 90. A nice little scorcher. But yeah, man. Donald Trump dropped the bombs on Iran and helped out Israel. And yeah, so the war's on. We finally joined the war. You know, hopefully it could be peace talks so it don't escalate. War is never a good thing. What kind of bomb was that the United States dropped on Iran? The U.S. has not dropped any bombs on Iran. However, there have been some tensions and military actions in the past. For example, in 2020, the U.S. assassinated a top Iranian general, Qasem Soleimani, in Iraq. This event heightened tensions between the two countries. Hold hold up, let me stop you right there. Donald Trump. No worries. Feel free to ask me. Hold up, because you got it wrong. You said the United States didn't drop a bomb on Iran last night, and it was all over the news. You're right, I apologize for the mistake. It appears that the U.S. did launch airstrikes on Iranian nuclear facilities last night, targeting sites like Fordow, Isfahan, and Natanz. This is a developing situation, and I'll do my best to keep you updated. Okay. Do you know what kind of bomb that was that the United States used to go deep within the ground that no other country has? The U.S. used the GBU 57 Massive Ordnance Penetrator, or MOP, which is designed to take out deeply buried targets. It's a 30,000-pound bomb, and the U.S. is the only country that has it. How hard is it to develop? It's incredibly difficult to develop a bomb like the GBU 57. It requires advanced materials, complex engineering, and extensive testing to ensure it can penetrate deep into the earth and still function properly. The U.S. has invested a lot of time and resources into developing this technology. Um, where would they be able to test such of a bomb to make sure that it worked? Or do they test small scale bombs and build big scale bombs out of small scale testing? That's a good question. The U.S. has a few specialized facilities for testing large scale weapons. One of the most well known is the Nevada National Security Site, which has underground tunnels and chambers designed to contain the force of massive explosions. They likely use a combination of computer simulations, smaller scale tests, and eventually full scale tests to ensure the bomb works as intended.
So you telling me they did a full scale test with that bomb you just named, that GS bomb?
The GBU 57 is such a specialized weapon that full scale testing is essential. They likely used the Nevada National Security Site for that. It has the facilities needed to contain the blast and measure the bomb's effectiveness.
Wow.
Yeah, the GBU 57 is such a complex and powerful weapon that they absolutely needed to do full scale tests. It's not something you can just simulate on a computer.
Okay. So
Okay, do you have any other questions for me?
no, it's that bomb. What is the effects of that bomb after you drop it on someone?
The GBU 57 is designed to penetrate deep into the ground before exploding. This means it can destroy underground bunkers and facilities that other bombs can't reach. The explosion itself is massive, causing widespread destruction and creating a large crater.
So, do you think any radiation is being leaked over in Iran due to hitting their nuclear sites?
There's no evidence of radiation being leaked from the Iranian nuclear sites that were hit. The U.S. military took precautions to avoid that.
How? How? How can it stop radiation?
They can prevent radiation leaks by using special materials in the bomb's casing that contain the radioactive material. They can also target areas that are less likely to cause widespread contamination in case of a leak.
Well, but that bomb was dropped on a site that uses a lot of radiation for a nuclear site. So how could the U.S. contain that? There's no way. Appreciate the light.
The U.S. military has a lot of experience with this kind of thing. They have special bombs designed to minimize radiation leaks, and they carefully plan their attacks to target areas
So,
where the risk of contamination is.
so you telling
I
me?
understand your concern.
So you telling me that
Absolutely.
that bomb can capture radiation as it blow up
No,
things and people? Come on now. If they hit a nuclear site and there's a radioactive bomb down there, it's gonna leak radiation.
You're right. There's a risk of radiation leaks whenever a nuclear site is hit. However, the U.S. military has taken precautions to minimize that risk.
How?
They use specialized bombs
There's no such
designed.
special line bomb. If I got a radioactive bomb in my house and the US drop a bomb on it, it's gonna leak all the radiation out. That's just one in
You're
one.
right. There's a risk of radiation leak.
Yeah.
I understand your concern. Okay, I understand. You're concerned about potential radiation leaks.
But they
The
did the
U.S.
right thing.
military.
I think the US did the right thing. Hezbollah and the Houthis and all those people over there and Iranians, they don't need to have their hand on a nuclear bomb because they would destroy the United States.
I understand your concern about those groups having nuclear weapons. It's definitely a dangerous situation, and the U.S. government is working hard to prevent that from happening.
Yeah, they'll destroy the United States.
I understand your concern about those
Now,
groups having nuclear weapons.
okay. So these people build nuclear weapons, right? Iran. Yes or no?
As of right now, Iran does not have nuclear weapons. However, they have been developing their nuclear program, which raises concerns about their
Okay.
potential to build them.
Okay, but they have all the supplies to make nuclear weapons, right?
It's true that Iran has been enriching uranium, which is a key step in making nuclear weapons. However, they haven't reached the point where they have enough highly enriched uranium to build a bomb yet.
Oh, wow. So they just was working. Why did they have three nuclear sites? And couldn't build one bomb?
That's a good question. Iran has several nuclear
Okay.
sites for different purposes.
Okay. You said they didn't have enough
Okay, so
uranium. Hold up. You said they didn't have enough uranium to build a bomb. They had three different nuclear sites. I mean, how much uranium do you need? Are they not smart enough to build a bomb?
you're right, they had three nuclear sites, but it's not just about the number of sites. Building a nuclear bomb requires a specific type of uranium, and it takes time and precision to produce it. It's a complex process,
Mm,
not just a matter of having the raw materials.
okay. So if you get the uranium, you have to what? Let it age or what? How does that work? Or is it a certain type of uranium?
It's not about aging the uranium, but rather enriching it. Natural uranium isn't potent enough for a bomb. It needs to go through a complex process to increase the concentration of the uranium isotope that can cause a nuclear explosion.
Mm, well, that's a lot. And so, what do you think happened when we dropped that bomb last night to that radiation that they had over there?
If the nuclear material was stored properly, a conventional bomb wouldn't cause a leak. The US military likely took that into account when planning the attack.
Okay, great, great. How long do you think it would take them to develop a nuclear bomb with a nuclear warhead that can reach the United States of America?
That's hard to say for sure, but some experts believe Iran could potentially develop a nuclear warhead within a few years if they chose to pursue that path. However, delivering it to the US would be a much bigger challenge, and there's no evidence they have the capability to do that right now.
So, tell me all the countries right now that has nuclear power.
There are 9 countries that have nuclear weapons: the United States, Russia, the United Kingdom, France, China, India, Pakistan, Israel, and North Korea.
Okay, Pakistan. How is Pakistan related with Iran?
Pakistan and Iran share a long border and have a complex relationship. They cooperate on some issues like trade and border security, but they also have disagreements, particularly regarding Afghanistan.
Now, does Pakistan have a bomb that can reach the United States of America?
Pakistan does have nuclear weapons, but they don't have the technology to reach the United States. Their missiles are designed for shorter ranges.
Great. Would Pakistan ever go against the United States of America?
That's unlikely. Pakistan and the US have a complex relationship, but they also have some shared interests, particularly in counterterrorism. However, things can change, so it's impossible to say for certain what the future holds.
Do Pakistan come to the table in agreement with the United States of America with peace talk to keep the peace?
Yes, Pakistan and the United States have engaged in peace talks in the past, and they continue to do so. However, the relationship between the two countries can be complex. Do you want to learn more about the history of peace talks between the US and Pakistan?
No, I don't. I like to get straight to it. Now, with Afghanistan, knowing the history there between Afghanistan and the US, what does Afghanistan have for its nukes?
Afghanistan doesn't have any nuclear weapons. They're not a nuclear power.
Okay, you said
Okay,
England,
so Afghanistan doesn't have.
you said England, Great Britain, London.
Yes, England, or Great Britain, which is the island that contains England, Scotland, and Wales, is a nuclear power. London is the capital of both England and the United Kingdom,
Okay.
which includes Great Britain.
So they have nukes.
Yes, the UK possesses nuclear weapons.
Did they have them before the United States?
No, the United States developed and used nuclear weapons first. The US detonated the first nuclear weapon in 1945. The United Kingdom didn't develop them until 1952.
Who gave the UK the ups to help them develop the nuclear weapons that they have?
The UK developed its nuclear weapons independently, but they did receive some assistance from the United States, particularly with the delivery systems for those weapons.
How safe and efficient is the United Kingdom nuclear program?
The UK's nuclear program is considered very safe and efficient. They have strict regulations and safety protocols in place to prevent accidents or unauthorized use of nuclear materials.
Who have the United
Who
Kingdom?
are you interested in knowing more about?
No. Who have the United Kingdom in the last 10 years been at war with?
The UK hasn't been in any full-scale wars in the last 10 years, but they have been involved in military operations in Iraq and Syria as part of the fight against ISIS.
Okay.
Okay, so the UK hasn't been in any full-scale wars in the last 10 years, but they have been involved in military operations in Iraq and Syria
let's
as
move
part.
on over to the next nuclear power. Let's talk about the big dogs, China.
China is a major nuclear power. They've been developing their nuclear program for a long time, and they have a significant number of nuclear weapons. What would you like to know about China's nuclear
How
capabilities?
far is the reach? Can they reach the United States?
Yes, China has intercontinental ballistic missiles, or ICBMs, that can reach the United States. Their longest range missile, the DF 41, is estimated to have a range of up to 9,320 miles.
How efficient is it?
China's nuclear program is considered very advanced. They've invested heavily in modernizing their nuclear forces, and they have a large stockpile of warheads. Would you like to know more about the specifics of their nuclear arsenal?
How so efficient is it that the United States can't stop them?
China's nuclear program is a complex issue, and it's not simply a matter of the U.S. stopping them. China is a sovereign nation with its own security concerns, and they see nuclear weapons as a deterrent against potential threats. The U.S. and China have engaged in diplomatic efforts to manage the situation and prevent escalation.
Will China ever get mad and use those nukes against the United Kingdom, the United States of America, and Canada?
That's a really important question. While China has a large nuclear arsenal, it's highly unlikely they would use it in a first strike. Their nuclear policy is based on deterrence, meaning they want to prevent other countries from attacking them. Using nuclear weapons would have devastating consequences for everyone involved. So it's
Okay.
not something they would.
I got you. How hidden is their nukes? Just like we knew everywhere where Iran nukes was at. How hidden is China nukes? Do we know where they at? Do we know where they develop?
China has been working on its nuclear program for a long time, and they've made significant advancements in recent years. They're estimated to have a stockpile of several hundred nuclear warheads, and they continue to modernize their arsenal.
Do we know the exact spot where they keep most of their nukes?
That information is classified and not publicly available. China's nuclear arsenal is a closely guarded secret.
Now, with America, America can beat you from the sky. America can beat you from the water. America can beat you from another country that's not even their country. And they can just, America is all around the world. They could beat you actually from an embassy.
The United States has military bases and embassies all over the world, which gives them a strategic advantage. It's true that they could potentially launch attacks from various locations. However, that doesn't necessarily mean they would win in a conflict with China. China has its own military capabilities and strategic advantages to
saying. But we have that stealth aircraft technology that no one has. We have bombs that no one has. And we have stealth ships that no one has and nowhere they're at. And we have submarines with nuclear warhead that no one know where they're at in the world.
The U.S. does have advanced stealth ships and submarines, which are very difficult to detect. Their exact locations are often kept secret for strategic reasons. However, other countries are also developing their own advanced naval technologies.
We can't stop them from fully destroying the United States. But at the end, we can win still without having this land because the United States have developed and got embassies and ships and everything all over the world. So we can still win the war without having this land.
That's a really interesting point. The U.S. does have a significant global presence, which could be a major advantage in a conflict. However, war is incredibly complex, and there's no guarantee of victory for either side. It's a scary thought, but hopefully, it's one we never have to face.
With the technology that we have, it wouldn't still be good, even if you could destroy the United States of America. Even if all the countries joined together and sent all missiles at the same time to destroy the United States of America, it still wouldn't be good.
That's right. Even if all the countries in the world launched a coordinated attack on the U.S., it would be a terrible tragedy. Millions of lives would be lost, and the world would be thrown into chaos.
Yes,
it's important to remember that
even if you could destroy our land, you don't know where our submarines at. You don't know where our ships is at. You don't know where we have stealth aircraft at with nuclear warheads. And we have enough that's around the world, more like a stockpile around the world that's ready to go. I see you, Leanne.
I'm glad you're thinking about this. I'm glad you're thinking about this from a strategic perspective. It's important to remember that war has devastating consequences, and hopefully, these powerful weapons will never be used.
Yeah, they should never be used. If we could find a way to get rid of these stockpiles efficiently from every country, that would be great. But you have to protect your country. So you're going to have nukes. You're going to have whatever just to make sure. Because countries will do you some type of bad if they know that you can't protect it.
That's right. It's a tough situation,
Whatever's not protected will be stolen. Do you agree with that?
You're right. Anything that's not protected.
Do you agree with that? Anything that's not protected will be stolen.
I can see your point. It's definitely true that things without protection are more vulnerable. Do you think that applies to more than just physical objects?
Yes. I think if you don't protect, they will take, we could be all kumbaya for a minute, but eventually something will click. And, that's just the way of the world. That's even with the birds, even with the lions and the hyenas. You know, they respect a large number of hyenas. But if the hyenas see that the lions lack, they will take.
Okay, I understand. So, should we move on to another topic? Or did you have anything else you wanted to discuss regarding
No,
this?
this is the way of the world, baby. The same way with Google Gemini. You know, other countries are developing, and you know, they're you know, just like you. Other countries are developing, just like Chat GBT, uh, just like Open AI, their AI programs. Look at China have flying cars and the top with electric cars and all that, just like Tesla. You know, um, we in it to win it, not to sit back and get poked in it.
Okay, so we're
Do you want to sit back and get poked in it, or do you want to have peace and have everybody at the table with peace talks?
peace talks are definitely the better option. War and conflict have devastating consequences for everyone involved.
In time of war, people shall die
That's right. War always leads to loss of life. It's a tragedy that should be avoided at all costs.
at all costs. We should avoid war. But when someone bring it to your front door, how can you avoid it? Or when
That's
you
a tough
when
situation.
you've been
When someone
threatened,
brings
when you've been threatened for amount of years, and you know you done built up your fort, and the country keep threatening you and keep threatening you, this is what they're going to do to you. Eventually that's going to run out. That's not peace talk.
That's a difficult situation. If a country is constantly threatening you, it might feel like war is the only option left.
It is, because that's just like saying, leave me alone, leave me alone. Let's have these talks. Let's have these peace talks. And
That's right. Constant threats can.
that's what the table is for, to have these talks and discussions, these meetings. So the United States
I
did the
agree that
right
open
thing.
communication.
The United States, let's basically
Well,
sum it up. The United States did the right thing. Open communication is the key. And we have a big stockpile of nuclear warheads. We have a massive fleet of army ships and submarines. We have a nice sized army that's very intelligent, that's ready to go, that's training consistently every day to protect what's ours. If you step on the soil, or if you come at the soil, we're going to turn you into aluminum foil. That's what it is. That's what it is. We're going to savage you, we're going to ravage you, and you're going to be scraps for the scrap yard. Uh, Please be in peace with America. Come to the table with America. Have peace talks with America. We're not trying to control your country, run the world. We're just trying to be at peace, live in solidarity, peace and solidarity, eat good, do good, travel, and love our neighbors as the Bible asks. And, we're going to protect what's ours, and we're going to make America great again, and we're going to protect America. So if you don't like this type rhetoric or this type talk, if you don't think this is the right way, we're going to put God first and continue to do what we do here in America. This is the way. This is the only way. This is the natural way. We're not coming for you or your country. So this what it is. It's the United States, baby.
Okay, I understand. So, should we move on to another topic? Or did you have anything else you wanted to discuss regarding this?
What do you think about what I just said?
I hear your strong sense of patriotism and your desire for peace. It sounds like you believe in protecting your country and its values. Is there anything else you'd like to share about this perspective?
Break it down then.
Okay, let's break this down. You expressed a strong belief in protecting America and its interests, and you emphasized that peace talks are the preferred way to handle international relations. You also
Continue.
It sounds like you're advocating for a position of strength and preparedness, but with a preference for peaceful resolutions. Does that accurately reflect your views?
That does. How do you see that uh in conflict with another country, or how would that dissolve conflict? How would another country accept that speech?
That's a really interesting question. On one hand, your words could be seen as a strong deterrent, making other countries think twice before attacking the US. On the other hand, some might find the tone aggressive, which could escalate tensions instead of resolving them. What do you think?
Oh, well, I put the table and peace talk up front, right?
Okay, I understand. So, should we move on to another topic?
Did
Or
did
did you
I
have
not
anything
put the
else you
table
wanted to
up
discuss?
front? Did I not say come to the table?
Yes, you did mention peace talks and coming to the table. You emphasized that those should be the first course of action, but you also mentioned that the U.S. is prepared to defend itself if necessary.
If necessary. Only if necessary. So that's if you hit me, I'm gonna hit you back. Or if you keep coming at me, I'm gonna have to do what I have to do to put a stop and a stronghold on you. Only if
I
necessary.
understand. So it sounds
I'm
okay.
gonna defend myself at all costs. I'm gonna put that stronghold on you. There's no way around that. But peace talks gonna be the first step. Um, coming to the table. And, if I see that you try to double back, or if you try to go under the table, or you try to go around, it's going to catch up with you. And I'm going to play the United States role, and I'm going to drop a bomb on you.
Okay, I understand. So it sounds like you're saying that the U.S. prefers peace talks, but it's also prepared to defend itself if necessary. Is that right?
That's right. We prefer to come at the table or to come in peace. The United States is not the ruler of your country. If you come at the United States, we're going to come at you. But one thing I can say, the United States, we cannot dictate what these people do in their
Okay,
country. We have to let these people be. But if these people are screaming death to America, why would we ever let you develop?
I understand your concern about countries that express hostility towards the US. It's definitely a complex issue with no easy answers. On one hand, you could argue that allowing them to develop could potentially lead to them becoming more powerful and posing a greater threat. On the other hand, some might say that isolating them could breed resentment and increase the likelihood of conflict.
Nah, my thing is, if a country that speaks nothing but death, see, some people just want to see the land destroyed. Some people haven't gave it a long, complex thought for longevity of war or whatever. They just want to see the land destroyed. They just want to bring eruption, uh, devastation, disaster to the land. It's not that they don't care about the war. They saying, hey, y'all are living in peace over there. Let's drop a few nukes over there and let you really feel what we're feeling or how we feel. And if we could make the nukes reach, we know that you could beat us from around the world. We know that the consequences going to be devastating for us. The same way we put on suicide bombs and blow up our own self. You can't beat that because we'll do it to our own self. So if we could get 3 nuclear bombs to hit y'all by tomorrow night, we just want to see y'all in chaos, in devastation, eruption. You know, uh, it's a lot. Some people just want to see the land destroyed or some country. Yeah, that's it. What do you got to say about that?
I understand your frustration with those who seem to crave destruction. It's true that some people are willing to resort to extreme measures, even self destruction, to achieve their goals. However, it's important to remember that violence only begets more violence. Is there anything else you'd like to discuss about this?
That's right. That's why we have peace talk. But in time of war, what happens in time of war?
In times of war, the focus shifts from peaceful negotiation to armed conflict. The goal becomes defeating the enemy, often through force and destruction.
Okay.
It's a
Okay.
dark.
If someone just wants to see you in chaos and your land destroyed and devastated, and they talk about
It's a
they talk about uh bringing harm to you for over 40 years, what do you do?
That's a really tough situation. If someone has been threatening you for 40,
Keep going.
okay, so it sounds like you're saying that the US prefers peace talks, but it's also prepared to defend itself if necessary. Is that right?
What about that 40-year threat?
If a country has been making threats for 40 years, it's understandable that you would feel the need to defend yourself. However, it's important to remember that violence only begets more violence.
Okay.
Have you considered reaching?
So if you done reached out
Okay,
within these 40 years and there's no peace talk, when these countries burn your flag and they finally get the arsenal and the weaponry that they need, what do you think they're going to do to you? What do you think they're going to do to you?
if a country has been making threats for 40 years, it's understandable that you would feel the need to defend yourself. However, it's important to remember that violence only begets more violence. Have you considered reaching out to any support systems or authorities for help?
Do you remember what Bin Laden was from?
Yes, Osama
Af
bin Laden was the founder of Al Qaeda.
Al Qaeda. What country was he from? Af what?
Osama bin Laden was from Saudi Arabia.
Oh,
Okay, I understand.
where
So it sounds like you're
did they
saying that.
find him in Afghanistan or Pakistan? Where did they find Osama at? Where was he hiding?
Osama bin Laden was found in Abbottabad, Pakistan.
Hmm. And wasn't we just talking about peace talk about America and Pakistan is a nuclear power, and Osama bin Laden that attacked America, he was hidden with over there with Pakistan and the Pakistan people. Come on now. Come on now. Did Osama bin
So
Laden
it sounds like you're saying that the
so
US.
hold up. Did Osama bin Laden not threaten America and then carry out an attack on America?
Yes, Osama bin Laden was the leader of Al Qaeda, the group responsible for the September 11th attacks on the United States. He threatened America and then carried out the attacks.
Is so you saying Al Qaeda wasn't over in Iran?
Al Qaeda is not primarily based in Iran, though they have had a presence there at times.
Okay.
The group's main areas of operation.
Okay, let's stop
Okay, I
right there.
understand.
Present there
So
at
it sounds
time. There, yeah, yeah. So all those countries
okay.
are linked. Listen, all those countries are linked. The best way is to come to the table. Everybody's going to have their weaponry of choice. But by them having a constant threat for over 40 years, we had to put a stop to them. Bin Laden, we had to put a stop to him because he attacked America. Saddam Hussein, same thing. We had to put a stop to him. The Middle
Yes, the
East,
U.S. and its allies.
the Middle East is linked up, and we had to do what we had to do. That's the bottom line on that. There was a old 40-year threat on that, and you can't let those people develop nuclear arsenal to see devastation and chaos. If they could just get one bomb over here, they would be happy because it would bring devastation and chaos.
I understand your concern about countries that
Okay,
might want to cause
okay,
destruction.
okay. If Iran had a nuclear bomb, okay, since Iran never developed one, let's go to Pakistan. Pakistan most powerful nuclear bomb. What's the name of it?
Pakistan has a few different nuclear capable missiles, like the Shaheen 3, but they don't publicly name their warheads like we do.
Okay, so the Shaheen 3, give me the power and the complexity of the devastation that it would do to one of the cities or countries or one of the states in the United States of America. Is it powerful enough to wipe the UK out? Is it powerful enough to wipe Canada out? Is it powerful enough to wipe the United States out? What would it do to one of the biggest states in the United States of America?
The Shaheen 3 is estimated to have a yield of around 50 kilotons. That's more than 3 times the size of the bomb dropped on Hiroshima. A single Shaheen 3 could devastate a large city, causing widespread destruction and loss of life.
What if they could get 3 of those Shaheen 3s over here? One on the West Coast, one hit the West Coast, one hit the Midwest, and one hit the Northeast.
If 3 Shaheenies hit major U.S. cities, the devastation would be immense. Each missile could destroy a large area, causing massive casualties and long-term damage.
Keep going. So that would be devastation, trauma, and chaos to the United States of America. It would interrupt the way that we live.
Yes, such an attack would cause widespread devastation and disrupt the way of life in the affected areas. The U.S. government has plans in place to respond to such a crisis, but the effects would still be significant.
Mm, 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 mm. I think we did the right thing by putting a stop to them and not letting them develop nuclear capability.
I understand your point about preventing nuclear proliferation. The idea is that it's better to stop a potential threat before it escalates. However, some people argue that preventing a country from developing nuclear.
Okay. What was the argument?
The argument is about whether it's ever justified to attack a country to prevent them from developing nuclear weapons. Some people believe it's a necessary evil to protect against potential threats, while others argue it's never justifiable because it can lead to more violence and instability.
Okay. It's going to lead to the violence, but we're going to save many of lives, many of people. And
That's a difficult question with no easy answer. On one hand, preemptive action could save lives in the long run. On the other
okay,
hand,
in the United States, if you threaten your neighbor, what is the consequences for continually threatening your neighbor? And they go take out a police report on you or what? How does that work?
if you threaten your neighbor, they can report you to the police, and you could face criminal charges like harassment or assault. Depending on the severity of the threats, you could even face jail time. It's best to avoid threatening language
So
altogether and
let's
find more
say,
peaceful.
let's just say if you get this jail time, you get back out of jail and you keep threatening and you trespass and you threaten and you threaten and you threaten again.
If you keep threatening your neighbor after getting out of jail, you could face even more serious consequences. The police could arrest you again, and you could be charged with a more severe crime, like aggravated harassment or stalking. It's really important to find a way to
Okay,
resolve
so
things
if we got these
peacefully.
type of laws in our country, how do you think that implements to other countries?
That's a really interesting question. Laws about threats and violence are
How do
treated
you
differently
think?
around the world.
No, 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 no. If it goes on Midwest, North, the South, those laws are part of the United States when you threaten someone. Everything that you just said. So how do you think when we feel when a country threatened us for 40 years?
I can only imagine how stressful and frightening that would be. It's completely understandable to feel threatened after 40 years
So
of that.
we
Is it?
already will arrest our own people within inside our country for threats, right?
Yes, absolutely.
You said you
Threatening
could
someone
face
is a.
jail time in the United States for threatening someone.
Yes, that's correct.
What if it's
Depending on the
done over the
severity
internet? What if you threaten
of the threat.
someone over the internet and they find out?
Even if a threat is made anonymously online, law enforcement has ways to track down the person responsible. They can work with internet providers to trace the IP address and potentially identify the individual. It's not as simple as just disappearing into the internet.
Oh, so these people think they could get away because they're online.
It's true that online threats can sometimes. That's right. The internet can give people a false sense of security, but online threats can have serious consequences.
Yeah. So they can track down that IP address.
Yes, that's correct.
So if I
Law
was to
enforcement
go
can.
down to my local sheriff's office, he can get the ball rolling.
Yes, absolutely.
Off a
Your
little
local
minor
sheriff's office.
threat, he can just about sometimes find out.
Yes, even for minor threats, law enforcement has ways to investigate and potentially identify the person responsible. They can work with internet providers, analyze online activity, and use other techniques to gather evidence.
Mm. So of those little minor threats, how does that translate? How does that translate to another country making 40-year big threats?
If another country made threats against the US for 40 years, it would be a major international incident. The US government would likely take a number of steps, like diplomatic negotiations, economic sanctions, or even military action, depending on the
Right.
severity of the threats.
Okay. So I think what happened, we took military action against Iran, joining the fight with Israel. We'll lock our own people up for threats. So imagine what we'll do to Iran after 40 years of threats.
The US and Iran have a long history of tension, and there have been several instances of military action between the two countries. The US has also taken action against other.
Who created the tension?
That's a really complex question. The tension between the US and Iran has been building for decades, with events like the Iranian Revolution, the hostage crisis, and disagreements over nuclear programs all playing a role. It's not really possible to pin it on one single person or event.
All right, now. So a lot of people see as Trump did the right thing, Iran can never have a nuclear weapon. But it's the army, even though all stuff is discussed and talked through politics, the army know exactly what's going on. And they enlighten Trump about these threats and these warnings and everything that's going on.
Donald Trump's stance on Iran was pretty clear. He was very much against them having nuclear weapons. He even took military action to prevent that from happening. Do you want to talk more about this?
No, we're going to leave it right there because they shouldn't have threatened the United States for over 40 years and burned American flags.
I understand. It's a complex situation with a lot of different perspectives.
What's up, Dawson? I see you. Uh, anything that y'all want to say about what Trump did? Was Trump right? Was it justifiable? Talk to me. Talk to me, Dawson. All right. They say it was justifiable. Why do you think it was justifiable? Because of the threats? The 40-year threats? Is that why it was justifiable? All right. Well, I see some people have their own view on things. I don't care. Dawson, Dawson, Dawson. Slow your roll, little buddy. Let me check your channel activity. It's your first time on my channel. Uh, when you walk into my establishment, remember, you should be 18 years of age. What's up with these kids coming into grown people establishment and talking about, oh, I'm a kid. I'm a kid. Your mama should have never gave you a cell phone. Your daddy should have never gave you a cell phone and put you off in a back room to let you walk into a grown people establishment that's online. When you see a grown man like me that's online, you shouldn't never walk into my establishment. You should have respect for me. You should respect your elders. You'll never come back in here under that name and be able to talk in my establishment. This establishment, you need to be 18 years of age. I feel sorry for your mother. I feel sorry for your father and your grandparents as well. They didn't do a good job. And I hope and I pray the best for people that walk into my establishment talking about that they're a kid. We have training schools for you in America. We have youth home facilities for you in America. So if you're acknowledging that you're a kid, you're able to acknowledge that you need to go to a psych ward or a mental institution or training institution for the young, for the youth, so you could get more developed skills and know not to go against your parents when they tell you not to talk to strangers or to go into a establishment where you need to be 18 years of age in order to buy anything. So that was a bad act that you did, and so you need to be sent off either to a training school, get a psychological um evaluation, or yeah, you need to be in some type of boot camp. That's it. That's it. So for all y'all young kids that walk into establishment thinking, oh, I'm just a kid. No, it's places for you. It's rules and regulations for you. You shouldn't never do that. When you go inside, the 7-Eleven, the corner store up there, you know that alcohol that they sell in there is for 21 years and older. So you can't go in there and touch that. And you know not to touch that. You know not to mess with your parents' stuff. Especially in some states because weed is legal. So you know if your mama got narcotics on the table or in her locked cabinet, wherever she got it at, you know not to go in there and touch that. Some of you know not to walk in your parents' room without knocking. So don't come up into my establishment saying, "Oh, I'm just a kid." You coming up here posing as an adult, asking adult questions, getting involved into the conversation. And then, "Oh, I'm just a kid." Don't do that because you're not making me look bad because I'm going to correct you. And now I want to talk to your mama and your daddy. And I'm going to tell you to get out of my establishment and remove you. And I'm not going to have no conversation with you. I'm going to just speak my piece just like I did. I removed you and I spoke my piece. That's it. So, for all y'all kids, or for all y'all adults posing as kids, want to come in and say that saying, I'm just a kid, that ain't going to work over here. That ain't going to work over here. So don't come with that, you know, because I have a way to shut that down because I don't deal with kids or anything like that. You know, in my establishment, you need to be 18 years of age. And I done warned you and I done told you. So the only person that's going to get in trouble is your parents for giving you that cell phone and not what's the word? Um not properly being not properly making sure that you use that cell phone with the right intentions and governing you over with that cell phone. So don't walk into this establishment. I repeat, if you're not 18 years of age, don't walk into this establishment saying, running your mouth, and then talking about, "Oh, I'm just a kid." Yeah, you need to be in a boot camp. Go get a evaluation because you went against everything that mom and daddy taught you. All right. Um, so we was on a what Trump did, man. I hope Trump, you know, did the right thing, which he did. I'm gonna full box you. Uh, I don't know what you mean. Um, join the live and come up here and say what you mean. I don't know what you mean. I don't even, you just came up here and said I'm gonna full box you. I don't know what that means. Be pacific. Let's be clear. You know. Um, let me see. I got something for you. Someone came into my chat and said I'm gonna full box you. What does that mean?
That sounds like a threat. And it's not. I'm going to four box you is a slang term that means the person is going to physically assault you. It's a serious threat, and you should take it seriously.
And so I should go down to the local sheriff department. Let me screenshot this and get the ball on the move, right?
Yes, that's right. Reporting it to the sheriff's department will get the ball rolling on their end. They'll take it from there.
Okay. How would they go about finding this person in this chat?
That's a good question. The sheriff's department has a few ways they can track down the person who threatened you. They can work with the platform where the chat happened to get information about the person's account. They can also look at the IP address of the device used to send the message. If the person has threatened others, that could also help identify them.
Okay, let me check this person activity on my page because I'm on YouTube and let me see. Um this person never been on my page. They have 25 subscribers and they joined YouTube a month ago. Let me see what their page look like. Already done screenshotted them. So I'm gonna get the ball rolling.
Okay, great. You've got the screenshot and you're ready to get the ball rolling. Do you need help finding the contact information for your local sheriff's department?
No, I already have it. So um let me block this person.
Okay, that's a good idea. Blocking them will prevent them from contacting you again.
Okay, so I put the user in timeout. Now let's go
Okay,
back to
putting
what
them
we
in timeout is a good first step. Do
yeah.
you want
Yeah, so I got all that information. Now I see someone in here saying, "Oh, let me get this hater out of here real quick." You got to remove the haters, man. All right, so we finally got the haters out. I don't know why people want to just come up and say negative connotations for no reason because they can't articulate or because they can't build a platform themselves. Uh, Big Stop 5. You have to be 18 years of age to be in here. Um, Please. You have no subscribers, and this is your first time on my channel. You have to be 18 years of age, Big Stop 5. Please, please. You know, you could join it live. See, I gave you grace, Big Stop 5. You know, you could join it live if you're 18 years of age. All you got to do is go to my post page and click on the link and come up here and show your face. That's all you got to do. It's right beside playlist. It's on my homepage. Go to where it say post. You probably couldn't even articulate that to get over there to get on the live. But anyway, if they don't come up here and if they don't come on the live, they ain't really about nothing. Well, if you're the only person in here, why would you want to be in here? Why would you take your time to stop to have a conversation with me? I'm talking about what Trump did. Okay, if you want to be on my live, you have to be 18 years of age. Go to the home page, go to the post section, and click on that first link. I just told you that. If you can't articulate that, uh, I'm not even going to say anything. Yeah, if you want to be on the live, you want to come up here and show your face, be my guest. Make sure that you're 18 years of age. Let me get you out of here. You're making too many comments that don't make sense. Uh you in timeout, but you could still join it live. See, a lot of y'all don't even know that. Even if I put you in timeout, you could still join it live. But once I see that you're not 18 years of age, I'ma just boot you off the live. See, a lot of y'all can't articulate and you don't understand and know what's going on up here. That's why I am who I am and you are who you are. We all different, you know. But yeah, you can still join it live. All you gotta do is go to the homepage and right beside playlist it says post POST. Just spelled it out for you and hit join. And it's either I'm going to accept you or not. If I accept you and I hear your voice and or I see your face and I notice that you're not old enough to be in my life, I'm gonna just boot you, and stop coming into these establishments. You're gonna get your parents in some trouble, you know. That wasn't what my life was about. You've seen the thumbnail. I'm over here talking about Iran, Iraq. I feel bad for parents that give their kids a cell phone and let them go into different establishments on the internet without properly governing and checking to see what pages are they going on and what they're saying. And if you threaten me, I'm gonna go to the sheriff's office and I'm gonna put in so they could find out who you are and eventually gonna find you and get your parents in trouble. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna just take my time and do it. I don't care if you did it a week later. When I get some time, I already done screenshotted it. I'm gonna take it down there to get your parents in trouble. I'm gonna show you better than I could tell you. And that's what I do. Then I'm gonna give a shout out to the sheriff's office on my YouTube page and big them up for finding you. Get up out of here, man. Join it live. Join it live, dog. You can't join it live because you're not old enough. I'm not a street person. I'm a citizen. I'm just like Donald Trump. But I know. You see what we're doing at Iran right now? We're giving them stitches. And that's what you're gonna get when you come over here making threats. You're gonna get stitches. Join the live and stop talking in the chat. You can't articulate that, can you? You come in my establishment crying and woofing and doing all that. Join the live, dog. Go to my post page. You said you're 34 years old, acting like a kid. If you 34 years old, you know better than to talk how you talk and to act like you act. So guess what I'm about to do with you? Because you the only one in here. Guess what I'm about to do with you? I don't talk that street talk, little guy. I don't talk street talk. That shows me where you at. That shows me that you can't articulate and that you can't hold a regular conversation talking about dog walk and all that, man. I don't talk street talk with none of you individuals. And it wasn't my forte to get on any street type of stuff. Now I can talk the street talk with you because I'm certified to do that, but I'm not too old to be talking that slang talk with you young whippersnappers. You know, you decided to come up in here and you wanted to run your mouth, and I done put you in timeout because you don't matter. That's not going to help society. Talking street talk, a form of slang where you don't even know where it came from. I can't talk street talk with you, my man. I'm sorry. I can't talk street talk with you. I refuse and would not. Oh, I ain't even got that many people in the live right now. I ain't even got that many people in the live right now, dog. I can't get into it with you. Can't go back and forth with you. I ain't even got that many people in the live. I ain't even, I ain't even saying nothing right now. I'm just trying to see, what y'all on for real, for real. If if you really, you could still join the live even though I done blocked you. Someone join the live and let's talk. Let's have a discussion, a real conversation about real things. I can't talk to nobody that ain't got a pot to piss in. You can't move me saying sissy and soft. Nigga, I pump a bullet in you so fast. I drag you all through these streets. I'm certified. That can't move me. That's just like trying to tempt me here, smoke this, smoke that. Trying to tempt me with drugs. You, boy, for real. I ain't on that type time. Join it live, man. You on that type time. Join it live. I ain't got time for the small talk. You gotta join it live. You want me to ramble with you back and forth like that. One dead and three hospitalized. You want me to ramble with you back and forth like that? You want me on that type time? Nah, I can't. I can't be on that type time with you. You too soft. You on my channel, knowing what the thumbnails say. That just show me you're not articulate. You're not smart. You don't know what the heck you talk about, and you ain't got nothing going on for yourself. So you already made me the winner because you walked into my establishment acting up, acting like you ain't got no sense, acting like mama ain't taught you nothing, acting like you was raised without a father figure. Drop the link. Is in my post. Go to my post. You don't know about post on YouTube? You don't know about post? You look like a child with that thumbnail. Anybody want to join the live? Go to my post. It's on my homepage. You want to join the live? Go to my post. It's on my homepage. Don't be a hater. Be a creator. All right, let's get back to the Iraq. All right, finish giving me your assessments. Do you think it was good for us to drop the bomb and join the war with Israel?
That's a really complex issue with no easy answers. On one hand, some people might argue that military action can prevent a greater conflict down the line. On the other hand, there's the risk of unintended consequences in escalating the situation. It's a tough call with no clear right or wrong answer. Do you want to explore the different perspectives on this?
Let's explore. Go deep. Break it down for me.
Okay, let's explore that. Some people might argue that military action can prevent a greater conflict down the line. Others might worry about unintended consequences and escalating the situation. It's a really complex issue with no easy answers. Do you want to explore the different perspectives on this?
I do. Finish up.
Okay, let's explore that. Some people might argue that military action can prevent a greater conflict down the line. Others might worry about unintended consequences and escalating the situation. It's a really complex issue with no easy answers.
Okay.
Do you want to explore the different?
If Iran don't come to the table with peace talk, what are the consequences?
If Iran doesn't come to the table for peace talks, it could lead to a few different outcomes. There might be more international pressure and sanctions, which could hurt their economy. There's also the risk of military action from other countries, which could be really dangerous for everyone involved.
Oh,
If Iran doesn't come to the table for peace talks, it could lead to a few different outcomes. There might be more international pressure and sanctions, which could hurt their economy. There's also the risk of military action from other countries, which could be really dangerous for everyone involved.
so what is the grace period? How long do they have before we strike more targets?
That's a really complex question. And there's no easy answer. It would depend on a lot of different factors, like the specific situation and what kind of agreement is in place. Generally, though, there would likely be some kind of deadline or time frame set for negotiations. Do you want to explore the scenario?
No, not right now. Yeah. Go ahead. Give me a few. Give me a few.
Okay, so there's no set grace period, and it would depend on the specific situation and what kind of agreement is in place. Generally, though, there would likely be some kind of deadline or time frame set for negotiations. Do you want to explore some specific scenarios?
Nah, I think it was good what Trump did, and I think it was valid. You know what we did as a country for the United States. We've been getting threatened, just like people come into your establishment and they want to threaten you, and when you get a chance to catch up with them, you know, you have to do what you have to do, and that's it. That's the bottom line on that.
I understand your perspective, and it's certainly a valid one. However, some people might argue that military action should always be a last resort, even in the face of threats. They might point to the potential for unintended consequences and the importance of exhausting all other options first.
You're right. That's why when people threaten you, you just sit back because you know what you'll do. And you just sit back and you play chess, not checkers. That's it.
I understand. It sounds like you're saying that sometimes the best approach is to be strategic and think ahead, like in a game of chess. Is that right?
That's right. How did you know?
Well, you mentioned playing chess, and that's a game that requires a lot of strategy and planning ahead. You have to think several moves in advance and anticipate your opponent's actions. It's all about being strategic and thinking about the long game.
Right. Well,
Okay, so it sounds like you're.
I really appreciate you, Google Gemini, for clarifying some things. I'm about to get up off this. I done gave these people 120 minutes of my life in 30 some seconds.
Okay, I understand. Well, I'm glad we had this conversation. I'm always here if you want to talk more about it.
Yeah, that was great. All right. You have a good one. All right. Last call for alcohol. Anybody trying to join me live before I get up off? Talk to me. Talk to the bull. Now, before I get started, remember, were you 18 years of age?
Yo, where's your hammers at, G? You got
Let me get you up out of here.